ya baba ya baba ya ba bim bam ya baba bim bam ya baba ya baba ba ya ba bim bam ya baba bim bam ya ba bim bam ya baba ya baba ya ba bim bam ya baba bim bam ya baba ya baba ba. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Our service tonight begins on page 65. And as it is a night that is special to me, as it is special to the congregation, but more so to our family specifically, I cannot simply celebrate myself. I have to have my wife join me, my wonderful wife. So my wife Julie will lead us in the candle blessings.
As these candles give light to all who behold them, so we may give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotah v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You hallow us with your mitzvot and command us to candle the light of Shabbat. Let there be joy.
Let there be light.
Let there be peace.
Let there be Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'echad mikneh shel
Continues on page 66. Please join us in singing the Chadodi.
Chadodi Shabbat Nikavela Chadodi likrat kala Nesene Shabbat Nikavela La 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 Chadodi likrat kala Ne Shabbat Nikavela Chadodi likrat kala Nesene Shabbat Nikavela. לקראת קלה, ושבת נקבלה, אחד אותי לקראת קלה, ושבת נקבלה.
לקראת שבת ילכו בניך, כי ימכור ברכה,
ראש מקדם נשוכה, מעשה ומחשבתי, לה 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 לה, אחד אותי לקראת קלה, ושבת נקבלה, אחד אותי לקראת קלה, ושבת נקבלה.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך וביורי, אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני אלוהיך,
לה 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 לה, אחד אותי לקראת קלה, ושבת נקבלה, אחד אותי לקראת קלה, ושבת נקבלה.
אורי בשלום עטרת קלה, גם בשמחה ובשורה, טוב ממולך עם סגולה, אוי חלה,
אחד אותי לקראת קלה, ושבת נקבלה, אחד אותי לקראת קלה, ושבת נקבלה, לה 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 לה, אחד אותי לקראת קלה, ושבת נקבלה, אחד אותי לקראת קלה, ושבת נקבלה. We continue on page 67. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, and of the impulse within us for justice and mercy, we pray that this hour of worship may be one of vision and inspiration. Help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary, search and in need, all who bring to this place the offering of their hearts. May our worship here lead us to fulfill our words and intentions with acts of kindness, peace, and love. Amen. We have come together to strengthen our bonds with the people Israel. Like Jews of generations past, we celebrate the grandeur of creation. Like Jews of every age, we echo our people's ancient call for justice.
celebration is a sharing of memory and hope.
We are Jews, but each of us is unique. We stand apart and alone with differing feelings and insights. And yet we are not entirely alone and separate, for we are children of one people and one heritage.
Our celebration unites many separate cells into a single chorus.
And we are one in search of life's meaning. All of us know despair and exaltation. All bear burdens. All have moments of weakness and times of strength. All sing songs of sorrow and love.
May our celebration bring us strength along our way.
In this circle of hope, in the presence of the sacred, may the heart come to know itself and its best, finding a fresh impulse to love the good.
May our celebration lead us to work for the good, and may this Shabbat give strength to us, to our people Israel.
Many are the generations of Israel, and in every age we have sought the living God through Sabbath rest and worship. This time and place hold the power to increase our joy in the eternal. O God, even as we seek you in the sanctuary, help us to know that your glory fills all space. Make us understand that you are with us at all times, if we but open our minds to you.
Feel the presence of your Spirit in our homes and on our ways. We see the beauty of your creation in mountain, sea, and sky, and in the human form. We hear you in the silence of our own hearts, speaking the truth to
May we be your witness to the world, your messenger to all the earth.
May we show forth your image within us, the divine spark that makes us human.
Please rise. Amen. Hayechon, Yom Hechon, Uvhayeh Kol Beit Yisrael, Vagala, Vagala, Uvizman Karim, Amen. Shmei Rav HaMevarach, Me'alam la me'amaya, Yitbarach. Ushbechata v'nehemata Damiran ve'alma. Amen. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam. Amen. As day departs, as the dark of night descends, we lift our eyes to the heavens. In awe and wonder, our hearts cry out.
Eternal God, how majestic is your name in all the earth.
A vast universe, who can know it? What mind can fathom it? We look out to the endless suns and ask, what are we? What are our dreams and our hopes? What are we that you are mindful of us? What are we that you should care for us?
And yet within us abides the measure of your spirit. You are remote, but oh, come near, ordering the stars in the vast solitudes of the dark, yet whispering in our minds that you are closer than the air we breathe. For you have made us little less than divine, and crowned us with glory and honor. With love and awe we turn to you, and in the dark of evening we seek the light of your presence.
One and only God, you have made each of us unique and formed us to be united in one family of life. Be with us, Eternal One, as we seek to unite our lives with your power and your love.
We proclaim now your oneness and our own hope for unity. We acclaim your creative power in the universe and in ourselves, the law that binds world to world and heart to heart.
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vahem. You may be seated. נפשך וכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, שוכבך ותקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו עשיתם את כל מצוותיי, V'yitem kedoshim Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim. Yot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness, a world waiting still to be redeemed, give us, O source of good, the courage to say, there is one God in heaven and earth.
High heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and your love.
From Egypt, the house of bondage, we were delivered. At Sinai, amid peals of thunder, we bound ourselves to your purpose. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, we survived oppression and exile, time and again overcoming the forces that would have destroyed us.
Our failings are many, our faults are great, yet it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, and to keep alive in dark ages the vision of a world redeemed.
May this vision never fade. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we sing with one accord, as Moses, Miriam, and Israel sang at the shores of the sea. Adonai, mi chamocha edai b'kodesh, nora tehilo, osef pelem, nora tehilo, osef pelem. Adonai lo leolam vaed, Adonai lo leolam vaed, Adonai lo leolam vaed, leolam, leolam, leolam vaed. Adonai, Orei Sukkot Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Orei Sukkot Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Yisrael.
Ve'al
Shabbat Shalom. Shalom Aleinu, Yakol Amo Yisrael. Amru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berit Olam V'shamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berit Olam. V'shamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berit Olam.
Ki sheshet yomim aso Adonai et hashamayim
Et haaretz v'shamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berit Olam.
Ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat
Vayinafash v'shamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berit Olam. Shamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berit Olam. Prayer invites God to let the divine presence suffuse our spirits, to let the divine will prevail in our lives. Prayer cannot bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. Please rise for the Amidah on page 76. Adonai sefatai tita ufia gitehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah Elohei Rachel Ha'el HaGadol HaGivor v'Hanora El Elyon Omer Asadim Tovim Bekonei HaKol Zocher Aseh Avot B'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'nechem Leman Shemo V'achava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Abraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol atah Rab Lehoshia Mechalkel Hayim Bechesed Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim Samech Noflim Berofei Holim Umatir Asurim Umkayem Emunato Nishenei Afa Mi chamocha bal gevurot, nu midom elach, melech meimit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim v'chol yom haluka selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We praise you, Eternal One, the Holy God. You may be seated. We continue on the top of page 79. God of Israel, may our worship on this Sabbath bring us near to all that is high and holy. May it bind the generations in bonds of sharing and unite us with our people in common hope and faith. Through Sabbath rest, may we learn to find fulfillment and joy in the vision of peace for all the world. You are with us in our prayer, in our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, and pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answers to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Eternal source of good, we give thanks for the numberless gifts and blessings that fill our days, for life itself and its endless variety, for all that sustains body and mind, for love and friendship, for the delights of the senses, and for the excellence of your Torah, which deepens our life and enriches our days. Teach us, God of wonders, to work for a just and compassionate society, where all may share your gifts in the joy of freedom. At this point in our service, we pause to think about those among our family and friends who are in need of healing. I will look around the room, and as I look, feel free to call out the names of those who you'd like to mention. we sing Misha Berach together, which may be found in your program.
Mekor habracha ve'imotenu, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Say Amen. Yisheperach imotenu mekor habracha ve'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, a renewal of body, a renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We now pause for a few moments of silent prayer. This week's Torah portion talks about, or at least part of it, is the priestly blessing. And in the priestly blessing, we ask God's presence, essentially, to come and give us the blessings that go along with God's presence. And over the past several years, really, it has been the presence of the staff of the congregation that has made a great impact in keeping the congregation strong and keeping its energy level up to the point where it is, in taking care of the individuals in the congregation who were in need, whether it's pastoral visits in the hospital by Peter Pintus or by Laura Berkson helping out with some of the functions of the rabbi as well, leading funerals along with Peter or other celebrations, or Alan Perlman, or the presence of Lucille in the office, keeping everything running the way it's supposed to run. But also the lay leaders of the congregation. And Tom Press, our outgoing president, has certainly done a wonderful job keeping the congregation energized and keeping it headed in the right direction. And I owe a lot to Tom, certainly as the president who brought me to this congregation. And it's a great honor to call Tom Press forward now to introduce our other guest.
Thank you. It's with great pleasure this evening that I have the opportunity to introduce Rabbi Jay Goldberg to formally install Rabbi David Kaufman. As I said at the annual meeting earlier this evening, David joining Temple B'nai Jeshurun as our rabbi is the highlight of my 2 years as being president. It's also a real honor for me to be able to introduce Rabbi Goldberg and invite him back to our pulpit as we move from generation to generation, from strength to strength, and in this case, from rabbi to rabbi. So Rabbi Goldberg, welcome back.
It is a joy and honor for me to be invited by David to share in this service of installation. You all have a wonderful new rabbi. Eric and I would like to thank David, as well as Alan Perlman, Laura Berkson, Thomas Press, Ann Loeb, and the members of the Temple Board for your gracious hospitality. Before leaving St. Louis, I received a telephone call from Lane Steinger, and Lane sends his fondest wishes to everyone. He sends his mazal tov to David and to Julie and to this marvelous historic congregation. I also want to thank one other person, and I know it's very, very difficult to single one person out, but the one person incorporates the love and the kindness of everyone in the congregation. That's my beloved friend Charlotte Elmetz, who I understand has planned and prepared the Oneg Shabbat, which I know will be elegant. So Charlotte, I want to thank you and all of the dear friends who have assisted you in this endeavor. May I first introduce David's mother and father, Dr. Robert and Dr. Millie Kaufman. You can, yeah. Bob is a doctor of medicine and Millie a doctor of sociology. Both extremely bright, very caring, deeply devoted healers, and very highly esteemed in the medical community and in the St. Louis community. When Eric and I first arrived in St. Louis 20 years ago, Bob and Millie were among the very first to open their hearts and their homes to us. They are dear and precious friends to Erica and me. Now, David, at the risk of embarrassing you, and I probably shall, but I think one should be embarrassed in this way, I would like to take a stroll down memory lane. You were 12 years of age when Erica and I arrived in Des Moines. And whenever we went to your home for the many parties that Bob and Millie gave, I invariably derived sheer delight in conversing with you. And after the parties, I would turn to Erica and I would say the same thing. Erica, this young man, David, has a scintillating intellect, and he is mature far beyond his years, and in whatever career he elects, he will make an invaluable contribution to life. And recently I asked Millie and Bob, unbiased of course, opinion, if they would share with me David's salient qualities. And they indicated that David, which will not surprise anyone here, excelled academically in liberal arts, in linguistics, in the humanities, as well as in the extracurricular activities of tennis and basketball and chess. He was a member of all three, and he guided his chess team to a Missouri championship. Also, I was going to make a joke, but Erica told me not to. And I usually listen to her, but I'm not going to listen to her this time. David went on 2 summer archaeological excavations to Israel, and he had a nickname. We called him Indiana David. And actually, Hollywood did not respect the copyright, but David was forgiving and understanding. And David is a very fine photographer. And I have seen the exquisite photographs that he has taken because they fill Millie and Bob's home. I'm going to now quote Millie and Bob because I thought what they said about David and about Julie is so precious that I wanted to make sure it was absolutely accurate. Yes, I'm going to embarrass you too, in a nice, lovely way. And here is what they said. David has always been warm and caring, outgoing and personable, tolerant and even-tempered. We have seldom, if ever, seen David truly upset about anything. And alluding to David's and Julie's marital relationship, they commented, David and Julie are loving, affectionate, attentive, and accepting of one another. They are devoted parents to their beloved children, and their family and their friends are very important to them. Millie and Bob and Eric and I all agree that Julie is a dear, dear heart. Very special, very lovely. She is bright, loving, nurturing, and deeply, deeply caring. And when Bob and Millie spoke of their precious grandchildren, Hannah and Eliana, it will not surprise anyone here that they were cavelling, and rightfully so, rightfully so. The rabbi reminded us that in this week's Torah portion, we read the Birkat Kohanim, the priestly blessing. And in this blessing, light, radiant light, plays a very important role. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha, which I translate as, may the light of the eternal ever shine upon you. This is a central motif, not only in the Torah portion, but light is a central motif in our Jewish faith. Now, how does God's light shine upon us? It usually shines upon us by way of emissaries, angelic men and women who come into our lives and grace our lives with love, with kindness, and with solace. And this is exemplified in a true story, a very touching story that I would like to share with you. After World War II, Norman Cousins, and this is probably a generational statement, Norman Cousins was inspired to reach out in a very healing way to the victims of the nuclear incineration of Hiroshima. And in his eleemosynary vision, he saw America inviting the burn victims, the young women of Hiroshima, to our country to be our guests and to receive the highest quality of medical and surgical care. All of it would be free. And they would stay here as long as it would take the plastic surgeons to perform all of the surgeries, which would, God willing and hopefully, restore them to the nearest semblance of their former appearance. And when Norman Cousins shared this dream of embracing an adversary, a former adversary, in this way, with the medical center and with its surgeons and doctors, they embraced this sacred mission. The young women came to be known as the Hiroshima Maidens. Approximately a year later, the miracle of healing dawned in the lives of each one of the Hiroshima maidens. The doctors and surgeons were magnificent, and everyone experienced healing except for one of the Hiroshima maidens. And she was so severely burned and scarred that the numerous surgeries were of no avail. And prior to the maiden's return flight to Japan, Norman Cousins and one of the plastic surgeons went to visit this very disfigured Hiroshima maiden. And they wanted to express their sadness and their profound regret that they were unable to bring healing to her that they had brought to the other Hiroshima maidens. When they walked into her room, she looked up, and her eyes met theirs. And she reflected, "But you have healed me." And of course, Norman Cousins and the surgeon were astounded. "You have healed me." She then continued to say that when she arrived in America, her heart was consumed by hatred and anger and bitterness towards all Americans. And she thought that all Americans were vile and violent and cruel. Then she said, "From the very moment of my arrival, I was caressed in soothing love, sensitivity, and in gentleness. So you see, you have healed me. You have healed all of the scars that were in my heart." And then she concluded by saying, "All of you have been a healing light in my darkness." This story illustrates for me the quintessential ideal and imperative of the Jewish faith. We are all called upon to be a healing light to those whose lives are stricken, to those who walk in the darkness. And in David J. Kaufman, you are blessed to have a rabbi who will illumine your lives in the important and essential three spheres of life. The first sphere is the intellectual sphere. David is a very serious and a thoughtful teacher and rabbi, and he will illumine your minds and your hearts with new and sparkling and fresh and creative interpretations through the many years that I hope and pray he will grace this pulpit and your congregation. The second sphere is the emotional sphere. A deeply devoted and caring rabbi, David will walk with each and every one of you hand in hand in the valley of shadows, in the valley of illness, sadness, suffering, and loss. And David will bring to each and every one of you the healing balm of consolation, empathy, and the glimmering intimation of hope. And the third sphere is the spiritual sphere. By virtue of David's own spirituality, and by virtue of the very serious and creative way that David approaches prayer, he will help each and every one of you commune with God in a more vivid way, in a more meaningful way, in a far deeper way. And through the years, David will give you a gift. The gift of perceiving our one eternal God, who is the source of all everlasting love and grace and forgiveness, mercy, and peace. I forgot to bring something with me this evening, so you'll have to imagine it in your mind's eye. And that is a modest little menorah, which is no larger than that with two stems. During a recent sojourn to Israel, I had occasion to visit many of the wounded civilians and soldiers in Hadassah Hospital on Mount Scopus in Jerusalem. You know, there are two Hadassah hospitals. And one particular visit left an indelible imprint in my heart. I was about to enter the room of a young patient, and a nurse walked up to me and said, "Yishai, I think you should know a little bit about the patient you were about to visit." This was about 2 months ago. He was a navigator in the Israeli Air Force. 3 days after he had been released from active service, he was standing at a bus station in Jerusalem. A terrorist detonated a bomb. And we don't always hear about this, but the bombs they detonate are surrounded with thousands of nails and ball bearings to increase the severity of the injuries and to pierce the internal organs. She also told me that he had had 17 operations. And she said, "Yishai, when you go into his room, he will not be lying on his back. He will be lying on his side, because the nature of his injuries are such that he cannot lie on his back and he cannot stand up, and he probably never will be able to again for as long as he lives." When I entered the room, I was so deeply touched by the young navigator's mother. She was born in Morocco, and she was standing beside her son's bed. She had put a cold compress on his forehead, and with her other hand she was stroking his temple, all the while whispering words of love and comfort. "My darling, everything is going to be all right. My dearest, your mother is here. My love, I will spend hours with you every day." And she spent 6 or 7 hours with him every day, even though she had 8 other children at home. And after my spiritual care visit, this mother, in very tiny steps, approached me. And I saw that she had a little gift in her hand. And she said to me, very haltingly in fractured English, love Israel, love hospital, love doctors, nurses, love America, love you, Yeshai, for my boy seeing him. And then she proffered the gift to me. I informed her that it was my deep honor to visit her beloved son and to visit her, and that I could not possibly accept a gift from her. The nurse leaned over toward me and said, Yeshai, she will be so terribly hurt if you do not take this gift from her. And I opened the palms of my hands, and she placed therein a very modest little menorah. And when she did, I realized that this little menorah is emblematic of everything I believe in about the Jewish faith. And I'm going to tell you that in the form of a brief closing prayer. But before I do that, I would like to share one thought with this congregation. Erica and I, in our years here, knew this congregation to be a loving, a nurturing, a very gracious congregation, even as you are to this very moment. Therefore, may you always provide David, and that includes Julie, ample time to luxuriate in the radiant light of the love of their family, and ample time to refresh himself spiritually and in prayer and in meditation. This modest little menorah with two simple stems, most of them have many more stems, should remind us that it is not only the rabbi, but all the members of our faith who are called to be a light in the darkness. May each one of us ever be a healing light in the darkness by embracing very tenderly our loved ones when they know deep wounding or sadness, by consoling lonely spirits a quiver in fear, by being a quiet, caring nearness to the ill, by forgiving all who have hurt us, thereby letting go of anger and bitterness and resentment. And may all of us continue to live and to love and to dream in spite of the desperation and the fear and the terror of these days through which we are living. And finally, may we ever be a healing light in the darkness by imbuing every single hour with loveliness, with grace, with patience, yes, with appreciation for the gifts that God has given us, and with loving kindness. Ken yehi ratzon. May it be so, O God. And let us say, Amen. At this time, I would like to call Julie to the bima while I say a blessing for Julie and David. And after that, David informed me that we shall continue with the congregational portion of the installation. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of our mothers and fathers, we pray that thy most abundant blessing will be showered upon Julie and David. We pray, O God, that in this congregation they will know many, many years of happiness and personal and professional fulfillment. We pray that their future will be one of health and happiness. Every choice blessing of thine, O God, and thy most tender mercies. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you, Julie and David, and care for you and watch over you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yehunecha. May the light of the eternal ever shine upon you, and may God be gracious unto you. Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's gracious favors embrace you and your beloved children and your dear parents and all of your loved ones. And may God grant unto you and them the most sacred of all blessings, shalom, inner serenity of spirit and peace in every way. Keni Hiratzon. May it be so, O God. Amen. Love you guys. Thank you for this great honor.
I think I may have to put in an order for my eulogy from Jay a little early. Sounds a lot better through his mouth than through my memory. I was the one who kept the chess team from. I only had to play so that they could have enough people to play. So I was number 4, and our top 3 were all the top 3 in our district. So our team was number 1. Yeah. Our service continues tonight with the installation service, the page 1, which is in your program. While everybody's turning to the page, I'll thank you once again, Jay, for joining us tonight. It's a real honor to have you and Erica with us and to be following in your footsteps in this wonderful congregation. Jay was one of the people who recommended me when I applied to rabbinical school. So I remember the letter fondly. We'll read responsively. It is written in sacred scriptures, you, God, revealed yourself on Mount Sinai to teach your children Torah and mitzvot.
You revealed yourself to your holy people with thunder and lightning, and appeared to them with the sound of the shofar.
Our sages of blessed memory said, whatever a faithful student will perceive and transmit, the Torah he will create, the commandments she will teach.
They were all said to Moses at Sinai.
Sinai is ever present, not only a past event. Wherever people gather to seek God's presence, to renew the covenant, to discover God's will, whenever we listen and hear, receive and transmit.
We stand at Sinai.
God has told you what to do and what is required of you.
Only to do righteousness, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God.
Joshua ben Parachia said, provide yourself with a teacher and get yourself a companion, and judge everyone favorably. Get yourself a companion. What does this mean?
It teaches that you should get a companion for yourself who will eat with you, drink with you, read the scriptures with you, study Mishnah with you, lodge with you, and reveal to you all secret lore, the mysteries of the Torah, and the problems of everyday life.
May we see our Torah as a guide and light in our lives.
May your words bring us comfort in times of need, wisdom to lead our people, and the knowledge that harbors the noble path, deeply centered to study and belief.
May I serve with gentleness and kindness, with strength and conviction, the Jewish people and our communities at large.
May you strive for freedom, justice, and peace for all people.
Ours is a journey which will allow us to make change and help others. May I always embrace this privilege with respect, and may my deeds be ones born from a place of love and compassion.
As we continue on this journey, may we reflect often upon our teachers. They have stood with us as guides, teaching not only Judaism but of life.
May we always take the time to appreciate the important things in our lives. I am blessed by you, my family and friends. May I always know your love and appreciation. May our support,
pride, and love be guideposts to your future. May your steps be guided by Torah, and your heart open and hands outstretched, all shaped together our world. May you be blessed with joy and happiness. May your life be full of peace. And it's my pleasure to invite all of you to welcome Rabbi Kaufman and Julie and your family with a mazel tov. At this point in our service, we continue with the installation of our board and our officers. And when I call the names of the board members, I'd like you to line up this way with the first people on this side and the last one's called on this side. Actually, why don't we switch that around? The first one's this side and the last one's this side. Have a little more room that way. William Jacobs, Tanya Keith, Barb Sherman. Line up this way, guys. Where's everybody? Where's everybody? Well, Bill's here somewhere. Craig Kellenson. Is Craig here? Not everybody's here. Scott Stryker. Heidi Moskowitz. Sally Frank. Charlotte Elmetz. Susan Medorsky. Suzanne Pomerantz. Charles Kuba. Larry Kirchner is coming down the stairs. Pete Carney. Judy Deitch. Somewhere around. Okay. Marianne Reamer. Dick Kersner. Norman Mandelbaum. Stacy Franklin. Stuart Feldstein. Our outgoing president, Tom Press. And our incoming president, Ann Loeb. I have some words for all of you to read here, and I'll start this on that side. Just take one and pass one down. We'll start some over here. Pass
everyone has one, read together. Our God and God of our ancestors, bless the leaders of our congregation with wisdom, vigor, and understanding. Sustain them with your Spirit and grant that their labors be a blessing for us all. And let us say, Amen. You may all be seated. Mazel tov, except Tom and Ann, who need to come up here. You may not be seated yet because I have to bless you. We have lots of blessings going on tonight. Okay, Ann, you're going to stay right here, and Tom will come up with me. Please rise. Tom, you come up first. One at a time. Okay. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. May the Lord shine his countenance upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May the Lord lift his countenance upon you and grant you peace. Amen. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. May the Lord shine his countenance upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And let us say, Amen. And now, while we still have the ark open, I have a prayer for the congregation. Adonai our God, 1,000 years in your sight are as yesterday when they have passed. Yet to us, whose days are few and whose power is limited, every completed year is worthy of observance. May we then count our days so that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. We thank you, O God, for that this congregation of your holy people has reached another milestone in its existence, 130 years. This is indeed a day that God has made, for our efforts in preserving it and nurturing it would have been for naught had you not been with us through the years. We offer the deepest thanks of our hearts, O God. We thank you for being present with us in this house of God, making it a gateway to heaven. We thank you, O God, for the solace and strength that our prayers offered in this holy space have brought us, for the devotion to lofty purpose, principles, and ideals with which we have been imbued. We thank you for the divine truths that have been proclaimed beneath the radiant light of its exquisite chandelier and windows, for the religious spirit elevated time and time again, and for the many services to humanity inspired within these walls. We thank you for the joys of family celebrations and the comforting embraces of family and friends during times of sorrow. May you ever watch over this, your house, and the people who gather within its walls. May all who enter here realize how awe-inspiring is this place, that it is none other than the house of God. Grant your blessing to every man, woman, and child of this congregation. Fill with the spirit of wisdom and understanding those who are entrusted with its guidance. Your house will ever be a house of prayer for all peoples, and the sweet, melodious sounds of prayer and song will ever echo within its walls. And now we sing Shehachianu. Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehachianu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu, lazman hazeh. You may be seated.
As president and on behalf of our congregation, I would like to thank Rabbi Jay and Erica Goldberg for making the trip from St. Louis to help us install David Kaufman as our new spiritual leader. Rabbi Goldberg, your role as a mentor to Rabbi Kaufman, your friendship with the Kaufman family, and your previous position as our longtime rabbi has made this installation service all the more meaningful. Also, your role as rabbinic recruiter has not gone unnoticed here. In fact, we have to credit you with an RBI, not the baseball kind, in this case, a rabbi basket. As to your RBI, we couldn't be more thrilled with the result, Rabbi Kaufman. Although Rabbi Kaufman has only been here a few short weeks, we have already been highly impressed with his enthusiasm and new ideas. We think that this night will mark the beginning of a very long and rewarding relationship between our temple and Rabbi Kaufman. We are also exceptionally pleased to welcome not only Rabbi Kaufman, but Julie and the children into our temple family. Finally, there are just a number of individuals who have made this evening and the accompanying oneg possible. Special thanks to Charlotte Elmas, Barb Sherman, Alice Ann Galinsky, and Thomas Nye. Of course, we can't forget the special efforts of Alan Perlman and Lucille Wilson, who always make our Shabbat special. Thanks also to Peter Pintus and Laura Berkson, who have made the rabbi's transition these first few weeks a lot easier. Mazel tov to the board, and a special mazel tov to David and Julie. Shabbat shalom.
To a land that I will show.
We continue with Aleinu on page 148. Please rise.
Shabeach ladon hakol, hateit gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kuye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot adama, shelo sam helkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kekol hamonam. Anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu Emar b'chaya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad.
Even on such a night with so many joyous things to celebrate, we are reminded about those who are no longer in our midst. Tonight we mark the yahrzeits of Goodman S. Robinson, Solomon Joseph, Maurice Raphael Rosen, Molly G. Goldman, Paul Wolfson, J. J. Barmish, Maurice Friedman, Matilda Jacobs Wolf, Edward Hackner, Myron Mark, Barney H. Harris, Irma F. Joseph, Lawrence Duplessis, Sue Levin, and Muriel Oxer. And we mark the very recent passings of Charlotte Wolfe, Morris Katanik, the father of Beverly Kiekoler, and Michael Siegel, father of Stephen Siegel, who passed away just this week. The Mourner's Kaddish may be found on page 154. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei kol Beit Yisrael, b'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yesh le Rabbam v'varach le'alam u'lamei almaya. V'barach v'shabach v'yitpa'ar v'tromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudusha v'rechu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbakata v'nechemata. Damiran v'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, huya say shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Let us say, Amen. Shalom, shalom b'mromav, huya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom b'mromav, say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Say shalom.
Asay Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu. Shabbat Kodsho Be'ava Uvratzon Inhilanu Zikaron L'Maseh Bereshit Ki Hu Yom Tehillah L'Mikra'i Kodesh Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim Kivanu Bacharta Deotanu Kidashta Mikol Hamim V'Shabbat Kodshecha Ve'ava Uvratzon Inhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
This Shabbat, we have heard the trifold blessing several times. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord shine his countenance upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift his countenance upon you and grant you peace. There's a fourth line that's really important. It's the motzi, so we can eat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei Avon, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. That was wonderful.
Oh, you're wonderful. You conduct a beautiful service.
Run to the bathroom.
Sure. Sorry, we ran so long.
treat me with respect, Fred. Absolutely right. And Fred, you are eternally unique in this conversation. It has not changed one iota. You no, nothing has changed. You discovered the fountain of youth, right here. I spoke to you. Oh my God. Not one iota. Not there. You. You should see the inside. The inside. No. The outside looks like the inside. The beauty, the devotion. I have friends like you know.
I don't know if you remember. We were neighbors of a cow.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, I do because we were with the cow. We were Gail and Mary after that.
Yes.
There.
Yes.
And
We
so,
always see them when we go there, and when they come back, they always call us.
oh my God. That is. Thank you for being here.
And you know, yes. And we. Yes. Yes.
Oh my God. Had it by your side. And what do you want with me? I had to do it. I had to get you. But you know, the only only one. I used to do it a dozen times. You used to count. You used to say here, 4 quintessentials, 5 quintessentials. But I figured when I touched the second row, I said only one. I'd love to say. What are you going back? Yeah, but look for the others. I got to see you.
I just have one thing. Read a press from Eve.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I haven't heard from her.
I know.
Is she doing well?
Pretty well.
Well, she just broke her kneecap.
I give her my love because every year I get a holiday card from
Yes.
her, and this year I did